Heyo, everybody. Welcome back. Chris, we got some real helpful information. We're going to kind of go back to our first episode when we covered the MPC 71 Roadrunner. And we got a little bit of really cool information. We just want to let you guys know, a little update, that we got some really great information from our pal and fellow viewer out there, Craig Cermak. I hope I'm saying your name right, Craig. You can let me know. But he has quite a collection of models and built ups and stuff, and he has some great pieces. And we're going to show you here right now. But he gave us some really cool information, and I'm going to let Chris here take over because he's the organized guy here. He's got it all figured out. I'm just the dude that presses the buttons and talks dumb stuff. So Chris, what was it that we got handed over to us by Craig? He helped us out so much with this. This is just some great info, isn't it?
Yeah, he had and sent us some pictures of because he has quite an extensive collection of the Roadrunners. So the 71, the 72, the Richard Petty stock car, and he has a bunch of rebuilders and some that haven't been painted yet. But some of the pictures that we're going to see, they were painted and he stripped the paint off them, but you can still see the little detail differences,
Yeah.
and that kind of reconfirms with the release order of these, because I think we had originally stated that the the Richard Petty car came out before the 72 GTX with the birdbath hood, but come to find out, we got that backwards.
Yep. And
And
also, wasn't there something it was figured out where the chassis were different in some of when it was evolved into the cop car with the having the single or the dual exhaust? Kind of got that straightened out a little
yeah,
too.
yeah, a little bit. It's kind of confusing picking and choosing which chassis they had, but
Yeah.
eh,
I
yeah,
could.
we can go through and take a look at some pictures here.
There we go.
So it's a little bit washed out, kind of, but if you look at the marker lights on the front fenders, so the original issue, they're three, kind of almost looks like they're separate little pockets for the marker lights, and then for the 1972 issue, which is the one that had the red car that had the rapid transit car basically on the box cover. So they readjusted the marker lights for that to reflect the 72 marker lights were different from the 71s. So then they changed the body to the petty car, and then for the 1987 reissue, which is the yellow one at the bottom, they actually went back and changed the body to turn it back into a 71 street car, and they retooled up the marker lights, and they are a more they in scale, they have the more accurate appearance of the actual
Yeah.
71 marker lights compared to the original issue.
Yeah, they do. They looked a lot better. It's kind of interesting. They chose to go back to 71 instead of just bring the 72 Richard Petty version, which would have been real easy, just make it a 72, but they wanted to bring back that 71 with all the Superbird stuff, I guess.
Yeah, and kind of maybe like what we had touched on the last time. At the time when Ertl had purchased
Right.
MPC, there was some mislabeled molds here and there, and to go along with the announcement that they were going to bring back the Petty car in the late 80s, early 90s, it could be that they were under the impression that they had two separate body molds, but then when they retooled the stock car body into the the street car, they realized that they only have the one. So that's could be why that release got canceled, because they had to change the body and they didn't want to have to change it again.
But it still doesn't answer us what happened to the, because everybody would really like to see that 71 Roadrunner come back out. There's no need to do a Richard Petty one. What happened to
Right.
that then? They obviously thought they had it in their hands, or they had it in their hands in the mid 90s, but Oof. Sure would love to see that model come back. Of course, it's been through
Yeah.
the company has been through a couple of different hands since then, so who knows?
So another indication that the the bodies are all from the same mold. If you look at the flow channels here that are at the bottom of the driver's side of the the body, the rocker panel, this is
Hmm.
where the plastic would flow into the body mold. Um, they're identical. They line up perfectly for all issues. So the 71, 72, the Richard Petty body, and then the 87 reissue of the 71 Superbird. So that's more evidence that they're all the same.
Yep.
Uh, and
Yeah,
then
this is neat.
this yeah, this is a neat one here. So the the smaller pegs that you can see that are closer to the window, those are the ones that the interior locates to. And then the taller pegs at the back are what the chassis, because I think the body design is probably shared with the promo, because that's where the screws would go for if it was a promo body.
Hmm.
But they're just kind of spacers for the glue kit. And so the 71, 72, you can see they're identical, and you can also see like the imperfections in the trunk lid where the plastic flows around everything. It's really you can really see it on the red body, not so
Yeah,
much on the white one, but you can see where all the plastic flows. So that's the
and
71 and 72.
yep.
And then if we go over to the petty body, that was all removed because the petty kit used pretty much just the body, and the chassis was completely different. What was it from the other stock car kits shared with them, or was it a completely different chassis? I can't
Nope, it
remember.
was the same chassis. It was a made to be a stock car chassis, race car chassis.
Okay.
It was totally
Yeah.
different.
So in order to get that to fit, they had to remove all
Yeah,
those
that had to
pegs.
go.
And so then when they retooled the body for in the 1987 release, all those pegs are still gone.
Interesting. But and if you can look real close, we were able to examine these pictures pretty close. You can see that those imperfections or mounds of plastic underneath are all pretty much exactly the same in that yellow 87 body compared to that 71 white body. It's all
Yeah.
kind of in their
Yeah.
same locations and everything. So it's definitely all the same mold. There's no doubt about it.
Oh yeah, definitely. And so then for the front, they pretty much just changed the license plates, the molded in plates, so you get 71 and the 72. And then so
This
here's
is
the bird bath
interesting.
hood. So this is why this hood will never come back. Like that's why they
Yep.
had to go with the air grabber hood for the 87 reissue. Because you can see in the red 71 hood where the indents are for the bird bath, and then on the petty kit, it's a little like if you catch it in the right light, you can really good see it in this picture, but they modified the tool to make it a flat hood from the bird bath. So instead of tooling up a new hood, they modified the bird bath hood, but they still had the air grabber, so that's the one that we got in the 87 reissue.
Right.
Because circle, you can see the
Yeah. You can see where
the indents
they ground
modified
it
it.
out
Yeah.
or filled at that point at that side they filled them in on the out on the top they had to grind it and it's really finished of course on the top you can't see any evidence on the top
Yeah.
because that's the important part.
And then you can also see, let's see if I take the circles back out. You can see like there's 5 ejector pins on each corner, and then one kind of in the middle and between the 2 indents
Yeah.
for the bird bath. They're all in the exact same spot.
Yep.
So it's the same hood. It's a little bit more information for that one, and I guess I I didn't load any of the pictures um for the chassis, but um as we discovered by looking through, well, some kits that you had in your stash, and from some others, that the releases of the Monaco police car, starting from the 80s, um, even though the original Force 440, TJ Hooker, and Dukes of Hazzard had the dual exhaust.
Right.
When they reissued it for the Joker Goon car, it had the single up until they reissued the Dukes of Hazzard again.
Which is still
And then,
very odd because the dual exhaust is on the 71, the 87 release of the 71. But there we go, a little more catching up to do, and that's what's great about everybody. Really, I'm very surprised how many people really liked that episode and found it very interesting. We got a lot of people making little comments, giving us a little information from their experiences, and that's what we want. We want some nice discussion on this. That's what this is all about, is to get into a conversation about these cool kits. But so that pretty much wraps up that one for now. And we have so many more kits to cover over however long we continue to do this. The first episode was taken in pretty good, so we feel pretty confident we will continue on doing this. It probably would anyways if there was only 2 people watching, because Chris and I enjoy this kind of stuff. So, well, thank you very much, Chris. This is fun. We always have a good time. I want to thank you all for watching, and you want to say it. You want to say it, Chris?
Who's the producers?